Hi chess friends, this is KingsExecutor from Germany. It's been a while since I've made my last chess video. I apologize for that, but from now on they will be made regularly. I'm planning to show you my own games, which are played foremostly in the Dutch, the Alekhine, and the Benko Gambit. When I play the Dutch, I try to get in the Leningrad variation, and this is such a game. This game I played today at a regional tournament, and my opponent started with a quiet sound and tested d4. I responded f5, and now there are many second moves white can make. White can avoid the main position, which the Leningrad or the Dutch player in general will surely be prepared widely for. So some try, for example, the Staunton Gambit, offering the e-pawn for an attack. This is just a sideline to me. It's not a real threat in my eyes. We will discuss this position in the following videos. Another alternative for white is the move 2 knight c3. Against this, you play your knight out, and if white tries to take this f6 knight with the bishop, just in the trump fashion, you know, you respond solidly in the center, and white might try to attack the f5 pawn. So black tries to defend it enough times in this manner. These kind of positions are really enjoyable because you have to maneuver a lot with your pieces, and this is a game really for connoisseurs. This is a kind of opening for people who know where to put the pieces. My opponent played the main line, as you can call it. He played the solid g3, trying to fianchetto and playing solidly. I respond with g6, not giving bishop g5 any target at the moment, although it would be okay. It would be okay, but you have to respond then differently. For example, you play your knight out, and bishop comes to g5, and you probably have to play something like e6, and that's not what I plan to do, so I play g6 first, and white sets up the tested mainline position. Okay, in this opening, black tries to get e5 in. To do this, black needs to prepare, and yeah, he does this in hypermodern fashion. White, meanwhile, plans to maybe push this pawns down the queen flank, and really to get this bishop into the game. So these are the plans. Black plays c6 to blunt in the fianchettoed bishop, which is really important. After you played maybe your queen to e1, maybe your knight to a6 first, it depends, And then e5. This spot is really important, d5, so that there are no checks available, no knights coming into the center, and this is a really helpful move. White played bishop g5, not a move I especially like, because with this move I'm firstly winning a tempo or the bishop pair by playing h6. This is a move you really want to do in Leningrad. For example, the queen now could think about coming to e5 anyway to prepare e5. But also g5, which helps, which aids to a kingside attack in conjunction with the pawns on the king's flank and the queen actively posted there as well. So h6 really is not a move which you avoid. You actually play it even sometimes when you don't hit a bishop on g5 there. So I played my queen to e8 in this position, preparing e5, and white plays queen to c2. And now I immediately think about playing knight a6 and gaining a tempo on the queen. I don't have to necessarily gain the tempo by playing knight to b4 afterwards, because if your knight lands on b4, where does it go from there? I mean, it can be kicked with a3 afterwards. So you gain the tempo by playing knight to a6, and white most of the times plays a3 to prevent a possible knight to b4 in some variations where this might be a tactical shot actually, or a tactical move. But in this position I thought playing e5 right away is more accurate, before white gets his rooks in the center and plays e4. And the problem with this would be that black gets an uncomfortable obligation regarding his e-pawn, which would be then backwarded after after exchanges in the center. This pawn would be weak. So I play e5 quick. There are exchanges in the center, and now you see the bishop on d2 is really awkwardly placed. Maybe a knight would want to jump into d2 and aid the central grip, but even this would be a slow plan. Black could play e4 and gain some space in the center. So white plays e4 immediately. But I tell you what, this position is already better for black after knight to a6. Now we're gaining the tempo I was talking about, with white playing a3. Or else, I mean, if white were to take on f5, the bishop would take, and then the knight is ready to hop into maybe this square or even here. So this is really uncomfortable for white. So white has to keep the e4 pawn where it is, And after a3, black gets his knight to the very active c5 square. Every knight is practically pressurizing this e4 pawn, and white has to do something about it. White played knight to h4. This is actually inaccurate. White thinks about protecting the pawn with a fianchettoed bishop, but this is not enough. After several exchanges, black kicks the knight out of h4 and now gets his free move with bishop to f5. So black is really getting active now with his bishop pair. This is really an opening of dynamism, and it's not about solid pawn structure or about playing for a draw or something like this. This is a really dynamic opening, and you have to know where to put the pieces and how to play in the center. And if you are prepared for this, you might have an advantage against unprepared white opponents. So this is why I like to play this opening. Queen to f7 has several ideas. Now that the white fianchettoed bishop is gone, black has ideas and designs on the light squares. As you can tell, the king could come easily under pressure here. Firstly, this pawn is attacked, so I'm gaining another tempo. White has to protect, and I'm offering the offside pawn after white gains a tempo on my rook. I kick the queen into a7 practically, and I have really every piece on active squares. Knight e3, a try to get active himself, but this is really a losing move. Bishop comes to h3. Now, if white were to move back, then black can try to mate white. By doing this, black gets more and more active. You see the rook is attacked twice, mate is threatened again, and after the knight moves back, now queen e4, and this is the only move to prevent a mate, and now we're gaining material here. This is clear. f3, and I don't know, maybe keeping an eye on the light squares here. If something like king takes, I mean, this is really bad for white. So white played f3, and I took the material. And now a very important move, e4, and look at this diagonal when I get my bishop here. White took this, and I play bishop to d4, the strongest move in the position. White tries to escape, and I pin the rook and finish white off with this calm move. And white cannot stop black from mating him, or at least gaining material. Thank you very much.